And a happy Tuesday to you after a Memorial Day weekend. What's going on? It is Styles here for another edition of Happy Hour Live. My guest today, Danny from the band From Ashes to New. And as always with these Happy Hour Lives, you can go ahead and drop a question of yours in the comment section below, and we will get to them throughout our video chat here. It's all about hanging out with rock stars who are hanging out at home like you and I. So grab a drink, hang out, and let's bring in Danny right now. Danny, good afternoon,
Hey,
sir.
what's
How
up,
are
man?
you? I'm good.
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, man. So you're at your house, I assume.
Yes, I'm at home.
What has quarantine life been for you at this point?
It hasn't been too bad. One thing that sucks is not being able to go to the gym. That's been frustrating. But I mean, aside from that, it hasn't been too bad. Grocery shopping's a little weird, but
Right.
they just opened like the parks in my area, so I've been going out and playing disc golf and stuff like that. So, and obviously making sure to stay away from other people still. But yeah, it's been okay. Yeah. What about you?
Same here. We're slowly getting into reopening things here in the state of Illinois. We're getting in. We have a 5-phase system, and phase 3 kicks off
Right.
here at the beginning of June. So it's more or less opening restaurants and bars and stuff like that with outside seating and people making the adjustments. What state are you in? If you don't mind me asking, say city.
I'm in New York, but
Okay.
I am nowhere near the city. So thank God for that.
Yes.
I'm in the Finger Lakes region.
Okay, I lived up in Albany, New York, there for a little bit of
Nice.
time in the early teens, if you will. So
Yeah.
you talk about the gym and stuff. Have you been able to convert your work, your program for home, or are you just kind of like, crap, I can't do anything?
I had been working out so hard for the past year and got my diet like super in order and everything, and was in some seriously good shape. And then when I came home in this. I tried at first, but I was like, you know what? It's like, I just don't think that I can really honestly make the transition. I guess that's really an excuse, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy this time. The whole world's, getting pretty messed up right now. I'm just going to enjoy myself, lay back, relax. I can always burn it off again. So
have you put
I
on
didn't
the
even have a pull-up bar. I didn't have a pull-up bar. I didn't have dumbbells.
Man.
They were sold out everywhere. I was like, what am I going to do? Push-ups for hours a day? Like, that's stupid.
Yeah, I ordered some dumbbells for myself for home, and it took. I ordered them probably. It's what now? May 26th. I ordered those at the end of April. It took that long for the cycle for them to finally get them back in to get them to the house. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wasn't going to kid myself. I was like, I'm not going to do like push-ups and handstand push-ups and like pull-ups in a doorway, like just grabbing out of the edge. It's like I'll give myself something to do once this is all over, and I'll burn off whatever I gain.
There you go, man. Well, that's cool. Have you been cooking a lot at home? Been ordering out a lot of food? What's been the go-to for you?
Yeah, a little bit of both for sure.
Okay.
Chipotle's go-to for me, and they have their stuff in order really well. So it's been safe to order from there, which is nice. And then I worked in a restaurant for 10 years, cooking for 5 of those years. So yeah, cooking wasn't a hassle at all.
Awesome.
Now I have to go back to cooking. It's not that bad.
Real cooking, not in the bus or at the venues type of cooking, actual home cooking this time.
Right, not microwave cooking. No.
You mentioned restaurant there, working in there. Were you a busboy, dishwasher for the first couple of years before becoming a cook?
Yeah, so I was dishwasher for like 3 or 4 years, and then I moved up onto the line and moved my way down the line, and then until I was able to do everything there, and that really, honestly, really supported my career up until the last couple of years.
Oh, awesome! So you were just strictly in the restaurant business until you took this full time for yourself.
Right. Yeah. It was kind of like it just supplied an income for me to be able to chase music. So like I was in a band at the time, and my boss was super awesome, great guy, and he would let me go out on the road with my band and then come back to a job, which like it's pretty unheard of, So,
Right.
But I mean, it was also because I worked hard. I put in my all, and I treated it like it was my own place, and so he always welcomed me back, and so that supplemented a lot of my journey through music up until I came into From Ashes to New and started doing this full time.
what type of restaurant was it?
It was like Italian Mediterranean, so like you could get pizzas and steaks and salads and fish fries and pasta dishes, chicken, all sorts of stuff. It was good.
What was your favorite dish to make?
Oh man, there was a chicken aragosta. I'm gonna go through it with you on this one.
No, come on, bring it. You got so excited
amazing.
there.
Yeah, so you basically make like a chicken parmesan, like you set it up that way, but then you finish it by pressing it in panko breadcrumbs. You get some clarified butter, get it ripping hot, put your chicken in the pan, both sides, and then there's this lobster mixture that we make. It was like a lobster mix. Throw that on top, douse it in mozzarella, throw it in the oven for it to bake, so it would all melt together, and it would go with like an Alfredo, basil, and lemon sauce with pasta, and then throw that over the top. It was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous dish. It was so good.
It sounds like it, man. And just your excitement level when you even mentioned it was just like, "Boo!" You perked. You were like, "Oh, yeah, I missed that."
I do a little bit. Like it's therapeutic to cook.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you do a lot of cooking at all on the road then? I mean, like you said, microwave and probably I'm assuming like a conventional oven, depending upon what type of vehicle you have. I don't know what you guys are in when you hit the road.
A lot of the times we're on bandwagons. We did a bus when we toured with Breaking Benjamin, but even then, like there's only so much you can do on a bus. So like I really am limited as to what I can do, on a bus. So like I'll keep a note in my phone that's like tour foods, like how can I eat well on tour with what I'm given, and and a lot of the times it's like microwaved eggs, and actually microwaved turkey bacon is actually pretty damn good too.
We have that here at our house, and that is actually I was surprised. My wife, the first time she brought it home, I'm like, this can't be good. I'm like, nope, this is actually better than real bacon.
It is, because if you don't cook bacon just perfectly right, like it's just not good.
No.
Turkey bacon, you could do anything with it, and it's good.
Yeah, that whole cooking just regular bacon, it's that fine line. You have a short window to get it just right.
Right.
So
yeah, or it's brittle and
it just tastes like charcoal the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, here we are talking about food. I'm getting hungry now. I don't. It's what in the 5 o'clock hour your time. It's 4 o'clock here in Illinois. I'm already getting hungry. I got to talk to my wife about what we're doing for dinner. But you're talking about how you did all that until you did this full time with From Ashes to New. They held auditions for the band. What was that audition process like, and what brought you to them to even audition?
So crazy enough, I was in my own band at the time, and there was this like different contest that was going on for like an unnamed band that hadn't been released yet, and they basically put out just an instrumental track of something, and the competition was like, write your own lyrics and your own melodies, and record a video of you going through it and singing the whole thing. And I usually wouldn't care that much about that stuff, but I really liked the song, and so mainly I just did it because I wanted to write something to it, and it was really cool. So I did it, and I put it up online. Never really heard anything from them, which was fine. I wasn't really even looking to necessarily win. I was focused on my own band and not really trying to hop in a different unnamed band, even if they were on Sumerian. So that video is how Matt eventually found me, because he was looking up, different vocalists and reaching out to people, and then he came across someone else that had done this competition, and then went through the submissions for that contest, and I think I was one of the first ones that he looked at, and he reached out to me on Facebook, and I ignored him. I had no idea who he was, and because I didn't read the message, I didn't want to open it. I was like in one of those places where I was just like, oh, I don't want to talk to this guy. Like it was something like, I don't know. He wrote it out like, hey man, love to chat with you about music. I was like, ugh, God, I feel like talking. I don't even know who this guy is. So we had a mutual friend, and he reached out to her to have her reach out to me to tell me that he had messaged me. She's like, hey, this guy is in this band From Ashes to New, and he messaged you. I was like, oh shit. I was like, that's that guy. I was like, oh man. I was like, I better respond to that. I was like, hey, I didn't see this message. And I actually wouldn't have even known about the band had I not been following Warped Tour the previous summer with my own band, selling CDs in the lines, and we snuck in all the time because like if you just look the part and you just act like you're supposed to be there, you can just walk in past security. Like they're just people who are hired day to day. So we would walk in and we'd go in and get free monsters from the monster truck. And there was a line that day, so I'm just like standing there waiting. And this band comes on and I'm, watching, and they come out and they start playing. I was like, this is different. I was like, that's kind of cool. It's like, this doesn't sound like Warped Tour music. I was like, but that's pretty cool. It was the only time I ever heard of or saw them. I was like, that's pretty cool. And so I recognized that name when, my friend sent that message to me. I was like, oh my God, that's that band that I saw. I was like, I got to respond to this. That's how that pretty much happened, He was like, we're going to do public auditions, we're going to, explore all our options, but, we really like, your take and how you sound. And so we're going to keep in touch. And it was a long month and a half because I'm just sitting there waiting to either get it or not get it.
And there's nothing, you've heard nothing at that point. There's just a month and a half of no contact.
No, he was staying in contact all the time, which was good because we were building up kind of a rapport and a little bit of a friendship. But yeah, it was like, we think you're the guy, but we're not sure. So we'll get back to you. And they'd be like, hey, we're looking through some more people, but we're pretty sure you're the guy. But we just got to make sure. We're not really sure yet. And I was like, oh! So it was a fun process.
Almost antagonizing you the whole time that thing was going on.
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy. So you joined the band. How different is the sound of From Ashes to New from what you were doing before?
Oh man, I was in a metalcore band, so it was
really
yep. I mean, it had become that because where we were and the style that our scene was, we didn't get a lot of attention with the way that we were before we were a metalcore band. And so we kind of just reluctantly fit the mold, which I did end up loving parts of the music anyway. So, but it wasn't my first choice in sound. We were in a place where metalcore was big, and we were a band that wanted to sound like, Breaking Benjamin and Avenged Sevenfold. And, our guitarist was a ripping guitarist. So like, we just couldn't get any, real attention at the time. So we started playing into the metalcore scene and just trying to apply some active rock aspects to it. So we would have like a good amount of singing, but also a good amount of screaming, and then like ripping guitar solos and breakdowns. So we tried to like mesh everything. And so it was a little weird getting into From Ashes to New at first, but once I was there for a while, I was like, this is totally like what I wanted to write all the time anyways.
Cool. Now, did you have another singer in that band, or were you the screams and the clean?
Nope, I was doing it all, man.
Oh, wow.
I took a lot of pride in that too.
Did you kill your voice at any point in time at shows? Because I mean, that's a tough thing to carry all the time, is doing that screaming.
Right. So I would get sick a lot. I've always had issues with getting sick. I mean, I've kind of gotten it down over the past year or two. Mm-hmm. But my big problem was I would get sick. So that's the only time that I ever really struggled. But for the most part, I could handle it. And that was just because I practiced religiously, like all the time, doing as much as I could, practicing every day in the car. And honestly, a lot of people at that level and even higher levels just don't do that. Mm-hmm. But, it's a sport to me. I want to be the best that there is. And so
it's a job. You gotta do the best you can at it so you can keep doing it. And especially not kill yourself so that like 10 years down the road, you're like, I can't sing anymore. I got to quit.
Right. Yeah. And that happens to some people, and that's really unfortunate. Mm-hmm. Like, it happens to even the best of the best in the business. Like M Shadows is one of my favorite singers of all time. And, they had to take a year or so off because I'm sure it was just because of the amount of shows that they were playing and the amount that he was singing that he had the issues that he had. But there's a lot of people who just, don't practice enough and don't put in the time. But like, even if you do, like, you can end up like with what happened to M Shadows, like he had to take a whole year off. I think it's insane.
So do you do vocal warm-ups before hitting the stage, and how long of a vocal warm-up session do you do?
Yeah, I for sure do. And like, it's not set every day because you have to, it's a part of your body. You got to listen to your body. Some days your body's going to be like ready to go. And so I'll just check through a couple things. I'm like, man, I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. Other days I'll be like super either dried out or like just tight. and I'll really have to loosen things up and take extra time. So I don't actually believe in a strict warm-up, because some days you might be already warmed up and good to go, depending on how much you've been talking, what the climate is, all that stuff. And doing all those warm-ups could just, tire your voice a little bit, like pre-tire it almost. And then you could have a not great show because like you already put so much effort into, some of those warm-ups. So I don't have like a set regimen, but like I do have a full one if I am really feeling like, oh, I got to really warm up today.
You said climate in there. What's been one of the worst climate places that you've ever had to? Is it Colorado, Florida? Like what's been the worst for you?
Definitely Arizona, but for the altitude, Colorado can be hard just for like feeling like you're suffocating on stage.
I've never been, so I can only imagine just in general singing
Arizona
on stage.
For sure.
Okay. All right. You guys right now, since you're home, you guys have been doing this quarantine cover series. Back on the 22nd, you guys posted, what was it, the Bullet for My Valentine cover? Or no, was it? No, it was the Green Day cover, right? I'm losing track of which one's which. You guys have done so many, but you got so many good
We did
ones.
the Green Day parody, yeah.
Okay. So
which I love that band and I love that song, and it was just a thought that I had one night and I just wrote lyrics down to it. So I don't want anybody to think that we're making fun of the band or making fun of the song or anything like that. Like that band was instrumental in my growth as a musician, and they've made incredible music. But I just felt like, it was almost too perfect, and I was just making it just for fun at first. And then I showed like my sister and my girlfriend, and I showed Matt, and they were like laughing their asses off. I was like, man, maybe I got to turn this into something. And so like I ended up writing the rest of the lyrics over the next, I don't know, week or so. And I don't know who it was who came up with the video idea, but we all like filmed ourselves at home doing hilarious different stuff. And it was just really fun. And I think a lot of people resonated with the message behind it, because like we're all stuck inside, we're jobless, we're getting fat, and
oh yeah,
all
and you guys
plans are canceled.
Oh yeah, well, and the video itself, like you just mentioned, there is absolutely hilarious. I love the fact of you in the dinosaur costume. So talk me through like when that came to be.
So I had bought it. Yeah, there it is. It's great. I bought it a few weeks prior because I had seen a video of someone shopping in one, and I was like, that is hilarious. It's like, I've got to do that. So, but by the time I got it, it had started getting really serious, and I don't think that would have been a joke that anyone would have appreciated with the state of things and how seriously everyone was taking it at stores specifically. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. So it was just sitting in the corner of my room. And then we came up with this video idea. That's such a great part. So we came up with this video idea, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm going to quarantine in my dinosaur suit. I was like, I knew it. I knew I needed it for some reason.
Did you get a lot of looks going to the store there? We just saw the scene where you're walking up to the Wegmans or whatever it is. Oh yeah, Wegmans. Right. So did you get a lot of looks in the parking lot with that thing?
I got a couple, and like some people were laughing, so I just started dancing and spinning around in the outfit. It was hilarious. It was so fun.
And that thing has taken off. You guys actually even made a T-shirt of it.
Yeah, it was really awesome. We got such a great response. It was shared like over 16,000 times. It was really, really cool. So we were like, let's make a little shirt in remembrance of this video and give fans a chance to have a piece of it.
I don't know. I think you might have to, when tours start to come back, I think you might have to take it on tour and every once in a while pull it out maybe.
It's funny because it gave me this idea of like, most bands do intros, right? So like, having like, the lights go to black and then start playing the Jurassic Park theme, and then like have someone like come out in the suit and then like play like a T-Rex sound while they're standing up at the front of the stage. But that's something probably only our fans would get, but it was just a funny thought that I had. So I don't know, maybe there's some merit to that. Yeah.
I think there totally could be. And that's a great idea. I love that. Anything you can do to add to the intro, because that's always a fun thing when a band has some fun themselves with doing the intros. Yeah. So you guys, I'm glad to hear the story behind that cover, because honestly, I loved it. I laughed hysterically, and everyone I've played it for gives me the same reaction. So you guys did a fantastic job with that.
Awesome. Yeah. I think it was just I was sitting at home I don't know how or why I was thinking of the original Green Day song, and then I thought about how it was 2020, and I like tried to piece that together in my head. I was like, oh, that totally works. I wonder if anyone's done that. No one had done it yet. I was like, it's like, how's nobody done this? And I had only written like the first 2 sets of lines.
Okay.
And that's when I kind of showed it, to some close people. And then I was like, man, I guess I should make this into something. And then from there, Matt was like, yeah, dude, we got to do this. This will be so fun. He's like, people will appreciate it. It'll bring people some laughter in this tough time. So we just committed to it, and we decided not to follow the song like to a T. We just wrote a certain number of lines. We wanted all of them to hit hard and be really good, and we would just keep it at that.
Oh, well, like, again, man, fantastic. And your lyrical parody of it to 2020 is fantastic. So great job on that.
Thanks,
again. You guys have got other covers out there. The Bull for My Valentine one, Linkin Park. You also did one with Papa Roach. What do you guys have in the pipeline? Do we have anything done yet and ready to go for the next ones?
Yes. Yeah. The next one we're doing, and I'm okay with saying this. I'm not going to tell you the specific song, but the next one that we're going to do is Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
A lot of people don't know it, but Lance can rip it on the guitar. So we wanted to do a song that could showcase Matt the drummer, and Lance. So we picked an Avenged Sevenfold song. That's going to be coming out hopefully tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Thursday.
All right. Well, guys, keep an eye out on that. Follow their YouTube channel and, of course, the From Ashes to New Facebook, Twitter, and all the accounts. Looking forward to that. You guys have been asking for fans to submit their own ideas for covers for you guys to do. Out of all of them, what has been some of the strangest ones that you can recall off the top of your head that you've gotten?
Man, I wish I could remember, because there was definitely a couple that were hilarious. Like certain theme songs for TV shows or something like that was definitely one of them. I wish I could remember, because there was one specifically where I was like, why the hell would we do that? Like, I don't know if that person's just being funny or if they like genuinely just want to hear us cover that. But
that's funny.
There hasn't been too much, but there has been a couple of good ones.
Okay. All right. I was thinking like someone's going to pull out like Hanson's Bop on you or something like that.
That was one of them.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't look at the list. I'm just pulling things out right now.
That was one of them. Yeah.
That is too funny. I don't know that I don't know what that would sound like if From Ashes to New did Bop.
I don't know that it would be anything we could be forgiven for.
You're like, no, we're done. That's it, guys. Thanks for coming. Well, you guys have a new single out right now called Panic, which we're playing here at the station. Loving it deeply. So talk me through what happened with the video making process, because in the beginning of the video, you give a small explanation, but if you can't, walk me through the actual like expanded version of the story. What happened when you guys made this video and had to change everything on the fly?
Yeah, man. I mean, like originally that video wasn't even supposed to be what it turned out to be, like because of everything that happened. Like it was a song that was supposed to be about, panic attacks and anxiety and all that stuff. And we had written it last year. And, we had planned at the beginning of our tour, before all this really started to come to light and before anyone was taking it seriously. We had a plan at the end of the tour to do like a live crowd in New York City, and to do it of us performing it, and maybe have some like side stuff to shoot as well. But then like as it got closer and closer to the date, it just started to become like, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this kind of thing. And but we needed to do something. Like we were going to release the song, it was going to come out, and we needed to do it with a video. Like that was just the best way we were going to get as many views and traction and as many new fans as possible. So we're like, well, what the hell are we going to do? And I reached out to a friend of mine who I've known, for years, and who has worked with the band a couple times. And he was like, yeah, we could totally do a video. We can have a crew and all this stuff. And we were going to go through him and do a couple videos together. So like it would keep the budget from like, two separate budgets are way bigger than a double budget, because they have all the rentals all in the same couple days, and it saves a ton of money. So we were like, we're going to go and do 2 videos with him, and it's going to be awesome. And then like the large gatherings ban came down, and then we were like, we don't know if we're even going to be able to like cross state lines to do this. Like I was still going to go home, which is where he's located, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do this, right? So we pretty much had to like borderline beg him, like, dude, we've got to figure out a way to do this. We have to.
Right.
And so he managed to convince some of his crew to still do it, and we pretty much survived the couple days with like little Cheeto bags and little Oreo bags, and then like bottles of water.
Oh man.
For like both days of shooting. And so we were in it's not abandoned, it's just a closed down like office building that that they allow to like rent out sometimes. So we were able to get that, and we pretty much just shot it with you know, the director and then like 3 assistants, and that was it.
Wow. I was just gonna ask, like, where did you guys shoot it, in your hometown or?
Yeah, so yeah, I was in Rochester.
Okay, man. So you have this whole office space. I love the fact that we're getting to it right now, where you guys are smashing stuff. So talk me through that. Did you have to buy that? Was that just there? Where they just said go ahead and take care of it, or?
Yeah, so that was part of the budget. Our director picked up a bunch of stuff for us to smash, and Lance reached out to PRS, and they had a guitar that was either had like an imperfection or there was something wrong with it, and they weren't going to do anything with it anyway, so they sent it to us specifically for us to break.
Nice. Well, can't go wrong with breaking some stuff, that's for sure. Again, the video's fantastic. I mean, even amidst all the issues you guys had to go through in order to make the video happen. The song, again, is great. We're playing it here on Rock 96.7. Is this a preview of an album, an EP to come, or what are we doing with this track?
Yeah, so we're going to be releasing an album. Full album. Yeah.
All right.
Not really sure exactly when it's going to come out, but it'll probably be this year. You know, it does kind of depend on how everything turns out, but should be this year.
Okay. So the pandemic obviously changing everything. So you guys have recorded it all. It's done. It's in the mastering mixing process. Okay.
It's done being mixed. It's done being mastered. It's done as done can be.
All right. So in terms of music, I mean, Panic is a little bit different. I think maybe a little bit different than you guys' last record. Are you guys doing something different this time around, musically speaking?
Yes. So last time around, I mean, I was kind of obviously very new to the band. I was pretty much going with the flow, trying to, you know, do my job as best as I could and deliver what they, you know, wanted me to deliver. And there was only so much I could really contribute besides ideas, you know, here and there. But you know, it was sometime like maybe early last year that Matt and I were talking, Brandyberry and I were talking, and I was like, man, I see a lot of bands that are going soft. I was like, and I think that's pissing off a lot of rock fans. I was like, I think we should go harder on the next album. Let's go harder. And like, he started listening to some, you know, older music, and he was like, dude, he's like, this is what we've got to do. He's like, we got to go hard. It's like, let's bring back like the old school new metal vibes, like the, you know, the old Korn, the old Linkin Park, the old Papa Roach, the old, like all that stuff. Let's draw inspiration from that. Much like Avenged Sevenfold did on Hail to the King. You know, they drew inspiration from Iron Maiden and Metallica and Guns N' Roses, and they made an album that just sounded so much like it belonged in that era. And what we wanted to do was kind of do something like that, but really have a modern, you know, sound and edge to it, but really give that nostalgic feel of like early 2000s new metal and rap rock.
Not gonna lie, the first time I heard Panic, I'm like, man, this is the type of Linkin Park song I always wanted. Like, because it has that vibe to it. So
yep, yeah, and we've got songs that there's one song that has a chorus that reminds me so much of early Papa Roach, and I love that song to death. Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of that, and coincidentally, we also found a different sound naturally that is nothing like we've ever sounded before. That sounds very new. So like half the album is very much that nostalgic feel, and then the other half is just like new age, kind of not really been done exactly yet.
Okay,
and it's a really cool dichotomy between the two. I look like I'm grabbing boobs. Sorry.
Right, man.
But yeah, it's a cool dichotomy, but between the two, and so I think a lot of people are going to like the album because it's going to have great throwbacks and then also a really new age sound.
When you say new age sound, does that mean like electronics and things of that nature, or?
Yeah, and we actually kind of got the sound from like old style synths and stuff like that. Like actually,
Okay.
yeah, like we had our producer in the studio like actually using analog synths and stuff like that. But it created this sound that was just very just new sounding. It was really awesome. So yeah, there's going to be two very distinct sounds on the album, but I think that they mix well together.
Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing all of that. Who produced the record with you guys?
So we had Colin Britton, who was out
Okay.
in Los Angeles, as well as Eric Ron produced some of the songs as well.
Cool. With these covers and stuff, you're recording a lot of things at home, or did you guys do it separately, or did you actually get into a studio to do the record itself? Because obviously the pandemic hadn't happened yet.
Yeah, no, we were in the studio for the album.
Okay.
All the quarantine cover stuff, we're just in our own homes. We just, perform to a click track, and then we send it all, to our guitarist, and he puts it all together, and then we have Matt put all the videos together, and I do all like the thumbnails and artwork and the outros and stuff like that. But the album itself was totally done out in Los Angeles in the studio. We were there for like almost 2 months, I think.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was a long time, but it was worth it for sure.
Awesome. Well, again, looking forward to it, and hopefully you guys can start planning out the time in which the record gets released, because the pandemic threw everything off, touring, album releases, and whatever have you. Have you been working yourself just in general, like maybe writing some new lyrics in this time while you got this downtime?
So I haven't spent much time on lyrics, although I really did want to, like, as soon as we finish this album, just like start working on new stuff, because I thought it would be really important for us to begin writing new music after we created all this stuff, because I'm sure there was a lot of stuff that we didn't get to express on this album that was still rolling around in all of our heads. And when you do something consistently, especially for 5 months we've been writing and recording, you do get consistently better at it, rather than just like, okay, wait a year, go on tour and all that stuff, and then a year later start to write some stuff again. Like you're going to lose some of your ability and some of your edge, to how good some things can come out. So I really wanted to come home and start working on stuff, but we immediately dove right into doing these quarantine covers, and that's consumed a lot of the time, actually. So I haven't spent much time writing lyrics and doing the other stuff, because we're trying to figure out songs and then recording them and then putting together, and I also have to be able to live my personal life as well too. Right. So I got to see my girlfriend, and so it didn't really leave a lot of time to be cooped up more in my room after doing all the quarantine stuff.
Right. When you're doing these quarantine covers, obviously you're recording everything at your house. Are you in the basement? You're in your bedroom? Are your neighbors having to put up with you screaming?
Yeah, so it's not too bad. I have a setup. I have a pretty large room, so I actually have a backdrop set up and all this stuff in my room that I just can kind of take down and put away. That's pretty much the best place for me to do it. I have like all this lighting and all that stuff, so set it all up. Do the song and film it, and then I've got my whole like laptop set up and
right.
little studio set up just pretty much in my room. So, and yeah, I haven't heard anything from neighbors about me screaming my brains out. So
there you go. Want to flip back to the album that you guys are going to release here coming up. How many songs made it versus how many songs didn't make it? Do you guys have a couple tracks that were left over?
All of them are going to be used.
Oh, okay.
Everything that we recorded, we are going to use. There's going to be, I don't know, 10 to 12 songs on the actual album, and then there's going to be a few that are going to kind of release on their own.
Okay.
So yeah, there's something planned for a couple of them, and then one of them is just kind of a B-side, but they're all getting released.
Cool. Well, that's good to hear. Looking forward to all of that. Panic's the single out now. Are you guys going to release anything else coming up in terms of new music, or are you just kind of waiting to see what the plan's going to be?
That's a good question. Because, our label, God bless their hearts, they come up with ideas and they're like, we want to do this. Can we have it done by next week? And we're like, no, we can't. We don't have time. Like, we have to come up with the idea. We got to do this and that, and then like actually physically do it. And then it's like, so we just had something that we were trying to do that we couldn't do because the deadline was just impossible to meet. So the plan for sure is to release another song. I just don't know when that's going to happen and when we're going to be put on a decent schedule to do so.
Mm-hmm. You guys have label mates, The Hue, and you appear in a song with them. What was that like to be in the process? I assume you recorded separately from them, but when you got brought into the process, what was that like?
Yeah. So, man, first of all, those guys are amazing and like incredible musicians. Like, they're not just some guys who play the horse head, bows. Like,
right.
One of the guys, I wish I could remember his name. He's an incredible, like, fluent piano player. Like, when I was with them at Sirius XM doing the little like live performance with them for Sirius XM, he was sitting down at the piano just jamming out. I was like, this guy's incredible. Like, he's so awesome, and they're all such cool dudes too. So like, performing with them together was really awesome. And then I also performed with them out in LA while we were out there doing our album, and they had a show. And it was definitely totally different seeing them on stage, and the sound of the room that their music brought was like nothing I've ever experienced before. Like, it was like being teleported back 600 years, and it was incredible. It was this incredible aura in the building. It was amazing.
That is
those
cool.
guys are all super cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing what this album's going to be like. Because you're on one track, Jacoby's on another, Lizzie is on another, and then they have the album itself involved there. Yeah. So, I mean, they're starting to grow, and they're starting to get some American attention, and it was just cool to hear that track from you. So did you get handed English lyrics, or did you have to figure out the translation?
Well, that was the cool part, is they gave us the space to just, write whatever we wanted to write in there. Not obviously not whatever we wanted in there, but they handed us the translation of their lyrics, and they're like, "This is what the song's about," and you write whatever you feel is best in there. And so Lance and I pretty much just wrote it like in one afternoon, and then when we went in to work with their manager, because he had a studio setup of his own, we just adjusted some of the lyrics and like a couple end parts to the lines and stuff like that, and then I just recorded with him, and that's the vocal that ended up on the track.
That is cool, man. Well, looking forward to all of that. You guys got so much coming up. Hopefully, we'll get you out on the road. Unfortunately, right now, with the way states are opening slowly and how the whole process of the pandemic is going, for you, what's the one thing you're most looking forward to for the day you guys get back out on the road and be able to tour?
Playing in front of people, man. It's awesome. Like, the whole experience is there's great parts about all of it. Being on the road with people and living in the bus together. Like, there's a lot of great experiences that happen out on the road, together as friends, and seeing the country and then other countries as well, and then also meeting literally thousands of people and playing for them, and the excitement that they have, and the fun that they have at the show. It's all really awesome. I'll look forward to all of it.
You talk about those experiences with your brothers in From Ashes to New. Do you have any road horror stories since being in the group?
Oh, yeah.
Any that you can share?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
We had a driver one time who, to this day, we are almost convinced that he was actively trying to kill us. And like, I'm pretty sure, 1 second. I'm pretty sure I still have the note in my phone that was a
wow.
list of all the things that he did.
It was that bad. Now, was this when you guys had a bus, or were you guys still in the bandwagon?
We were in a bandwagon. I don't know if you can really see that, but
I can't.
it's a whole list.
All right, read me some of the list.
Okay, let's see.
It's that long.
It is that long. He would, first off, this is a huge no-no. He would post our hotel location on his social medias. He would take turns at like 60 miles an hour, like on ramps and stuff like that, like where we would like be falling out of our seats.
Well, and bandwagons are not that stable to begin with. It's a very shaky
They are
ride.
not.
I mean, it's a decent mobility tool for a band, but sleeping in it and trying to be up in it while even standing and going down the road, that is not the most stable thing in the whole world.
And yeah, and this dude was constantly hitting curbs, and he like, we caught him buying cigarettes on the band's card because the band, you know, buys the gas, so he has
Right.
a card that he uses. He like prepaid $500 in gas this one time, and we swore that he just prepaid that much so he could get the rest in cash. And like, he filled our black water tank with normal water instead of filling the water tank. The black water tank is where all the waste and everything goes. So he filled that with water because we were without water for like 5 days. We were like, dude, what is going on? We still don't have water. Like, it was insane. Somehow we ended up with a hole in our trailer. He wouldn't. This was the scariest part. He wouldn't sleep. The dude wouldn't sleep. Like, he would go out and hang with the other bands and other drivers, and like, he was playing beer pong with some people at this one festival, and it's like, we had to talk with him about sleeping. He was like, "Oh yeah, you know, whatever my drive time is, I'll just usually sleep a quarter of whatever that is." Like, so if you have like a 6-hour drive, you're gonna sleep for like an hour and a half? Like, are you out of your damn mind?
Like, no, you cannot operate a big vehicle with that many lives and that trailer on there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a literal nightmare.
Did you keep him for the whole tour? Or did you finally fire him at some point?
He lasted, I think it was like 2.5 weeks.
Wait. Which, that list came in at 2.5 weeks?
2.5 weeks. It was almost daily. And every time we thought he couldn't do anything dumber, like, we're like, what is up with the satellite dish? Like, we can't turn, the TV won't work at all. And it was making this weird sound. And we were like, I swear to God, like, if there's something wrong with the satellite dish, like, I'm going to lose my mind. And so one of our guys climbs up onto the top, and it looked like someone just beat it in with a bat. It was destroyed.
Oh.
And we were just like, that's it. He's got to go. He's going to destroy the bandwagon before we ever even get it back to them.
Oh my God. Now, was he given to you or recommended to you from the company, or did you find him yourself?
He was recommended through someone, but not through the company. So
okay. Wow.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. Really bad.
All right, well, let's flip the script and give me one of your favorite memories of being on the road.
Oh man, most of them, honestly. One of my favorite memories was Avenged Sevenfold is one of my favorite bands of all time, and we got to play a couple festivals with them, which was just, it was incredible. I had accepted early on in my career that there was no way I was ever going to play a show with them because they were too far along, and by the time, even if I got somewhere, by the time I got there, they would have already retired, or they would just be too big for us to ever play with. And then obviously, you know, this opportunity came around, and then we got to play this festival. And so, like, I was watching them one night, and I got one of my best friends who used to be in my old band on stage to watch them, like, from side stage or whatever. So, and then I just watched from the crowd because I pretty much gave him my pass because he's got like a tattoo of the band, like all that stuff. So, like, he's a diehard fan. So I wanted to make his money, got him on stage, and that's because our drummer is friends with people associated with the band. So he got some passes for people to get on stage. So I just watched from the crowd. I just walked out all the way towards the back, and it was so awesome to watch them and to be there. And then, you know, I was just, after the show, I was just walking back behind in the bus area, and M Shadows was there and Zachy Vengeance was there, and I'll be honest, I've never been starstruck in my life, and I've never really cared all that much. But when I saw them in person for like the first time in the 10 years or 11 years that I'd been listening to them or whatever, it was definitely like, I was like, holy shit, there they are. Like, I'm going to go say hi. I'm just going to thank them and tell them that they did an awesome job, and then, leave them alone so that they can go and warm down and rest and all that stuff. So I said hi to them, super cool guys. And then that was just an experience I'll always remember. Yeah, those guys are really awesome.
That's cool. Well, at least you didn't bumble your words and go, hi.
No, never.
Nothing worse than meeting somebody I've done that before. Unfortunately, I don't get starstruck that often, if ever at all, but there's like 1 or 2 occasions I've done it and I bumbled my words. I'm like, yeah, I just look like an idiot. That's great. Fantastic.
Well, most people are super cool, so I don't think anybody would judge you for it.
Right. I want to talk about something real quick. A couple back in March, actually, on your Twitter accounts, you posted you were wide awake at 1:30 in the morning with "Walking in a Winter Wonderland" stuck in your head. So, 1, why the hell was it in your head? And 2, the follow-up question that would be, what has been the worst earworm you've ever had like that?
Oh, man. I wish I knew why that song was stuck in my head. It makes absolutely no damn sense. But I almost feel like it's a condition where, like, whatever the last thing that I heard is stuck in my head until I hear something else.
Oh, okay.
It's like I'll hear some random like tune on TikTok or something like that. That will be in my head until like something else plays, and it's horrible.
Oh man. I have a bad problem. We have a joke running between me and my wife about little earworms. Her favorite to get stuck in my head, and I'm sorry to everybody right now that I say it's that horrible Aqua song Barbie Girl from the 90s. You know it. Yeah, I just say it is god awful, and I don't know why, but she'll say it. I'm like, great, it's in my head now. Thanks.
I was just thinking about that song like yesterday or something. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
So,
I don't know. That song doesn't bother me.
It just when it gets stuck in my head, because then it's like 5 hours of it on repeat. I'm like, can it just go away?
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
And I'll be on the air talking, and even then, any of the songs that are on the air cannot take over that song being stuck in my head.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's terrible.
Oh man. Well, I appreciate all the time you've given us, man. We're like at almost 50 minutes here, and I appreciate everything you being with us and talking with us. Absolutely. Anything you want to touch on before we wrap up here to the fans?
Just stay safe. Keep jamming out to music. Music and festivals and all that stuff will be back in full force, if not stronger. After all this, I think that as hard of a time as this is, it's going to allow a lot of people to realize what we take for granted on a daily basis. So. Just stay safe, keep listening to music, and when shows come back, let's burn it all to the ground.
I love it. I love that idea. And by the way, I just realized something that you see the scroll right there where that part where it says your name and from Ashes to New. I just realized it said from Ashes to Mew the entire time I pulled that bar up. I'm like, oh, great. Spell check's a great thing.
At least it didn't say Ashes to New. We get that 9 times out of 10.
Really? You get that a lot of times?
Oh yeah, it's hard to, especially hard to say. Because if a DJ is going like, oh, we have this band from Ashes to New, so like it's hard to say because you get stuck on the from, and no one wants to say from Ashes to New because that's stupid.
I get that sometimes when I'm like post selling the song, I'll be coming out of it like, hey, that's new rock from Ashes to New.
Yeah, like, you really have to have like a mental note before you go to say it. So like, how am I going to say this? Like,
right.
Oh, new music from the band from Ashes to New.
Yeah. Exactly. From Ashes to New rock, and then I'll run off it because there was a couple of times where I'm like, oh God, this sounds horrible. I don't sound like I talk English very well. So, oh man. Well, again, thank you so much for the time. Make sure you guys check out Panic, and an Avenged Sevenfold cover is apparently coming some point soon from you guys this week for the quarantine covers. I'm looking forward to what song that's going to be.
It's going to be a good one, man. It's a fan favorite.
All right, all right. Do you guys have any other ones in the pipeline yet, or is it a week by week basis?
Yes.
To
I don't
what
know.
part?
Yes, it's a week by week basis, but yes,
Okay.
we also have one more that we're planning to do. But it all kind
Okay.
of depends on. I mean, if the quarantines are all kind of done, it'll probably be the last one that we do.
Okay.
But yeah, there's at least one more.
Cool. Looking forward
And
to
we're
it.
gonna
Danny.
have a nice special guest too.
Oh, yeah, because you've had a
Yeah,
Ledger on there as well. So on the
yeah, and
Papa Roach
she was
cover.
amazing. We've got a special guest on this upcoming song, and then we'll have a special guest for the last one too.
Cool. Well, looking forward to it. From Ashes to New is the band. Danny is my guest. Happy Hour Live. Make sure you guys stay tuned and check it out more. And we are out. Stay on the line with me, though.